Hey, everybody, welcome to the Ronline Report. This man needs no introduction, but I'm going to give him a good introduction anyway. He is the winningest pro bodybuilder of all time. He's a 5-time Arnold Classic champion. He is Mr. Olympia in 2008. Yes. He is also the owner of a new company, Dexter Jackson Signature Series. Please welcome the Blade, Dexter Jackson.
What's up, everybody? How you guys doing out there, man?
Yeah. They even named that city you live in after you, Jacksonville, right?
Okay. You could say that.
And you're still a young man. You're still only 51 for now. Yeah.
No.
So let's start with the show. The first thing I want to know is, I think you competed in every Olympia, I want to say from 1999 to 2020. Did you ever miss one?
I missed one.
Missed one. So, geez, but you did 20 or 21 of them?
I did 22.
Wow. Good Lord. So this was probably the first time you've been able to sit and watch it in a very, very long time. Was it strange for you to be in the audience looking up at that stage when you're usually on stage looking out at the audience?
It was strange, weird and strange at the same time, brother. But I really enjoyed myself, though. You know, a lot of people ask me all the time, am I happy? You know, how do I feel? Do I wish I was, still competing? Yeah, I do not. I feel really good. I'm very happy that I retired when I did, because I lasted a long time for a reason. And that was one of the reasons, to make sure I get all the shit out my system, in that way I would not regret, retiring early or what have you.
And you got out without any major injuries. You're still walking, mobile. Unfortunately, poor Ronnie was going around a scooter. Yeah, you still very much look young. Well, young compared to most guys your age. I'm sure most people don't believe you're.
Oh yeah, you're right. I look young, don't you?
Well,
yeah,
you said it right. If you got rid of the beard, the gray's giving you away. You can pass for 30, 35 if you just shave that off or dye it black. So,
good way to clean it up, Ron.
I try to give it a save. The big question on everyone's mind. You probably already said this in some other wrap up, but Rami versus Brandon, it was very close. They were 1 point apart Friday night. A lot of people had Brandon winning. A lot of people had Rami winning. Where did you stand after judging Friday night? And did you change your mind Saturday or not?
No. I had Rami winning Friday night and also Saturday night. I thought he won from the back. Okay. And I give Brandon all the front shots, side shots. Rami got him on like the side try or probably both sides, because he got an amazing side leg. And Brandon legs are, as could be a little improved, right. But not to take away from his physique, he got amazing physique, right. So it could have went either way, but I feel that you have to knock the champion out to beat him, and I don't think he did that neither one of those nights.
So Brandon was saying he was 10 pounds up, and I believe him. Do you think if you had to do some math, how much went to the upper body out of those 10? How much went to the lower, do you think?
Well, I'm not good at math, so I can't answer that one. But like I said, he can improve on his legs a little bit, and definitely neither one of them had separation in their quad, so. Yeah.
True.
So you can't say a little bit more separation. Let's just say if Brandon had a little bit more leg size and separation, it wouldn't have been close.
Right. I don't think it helped that he's standing next to probably the biggest legs we've ever seen in the history of the sport. I bet those things are 36 inches around. They gotta be.
They're big, but I don't know if they're bigger than Ronnie's legs, but they are big.
Yeah, Ronnie had some big legs too.
Ronnie had squeaks on his quads that was just ridiculous. So I don't think nobody. If you put him next to Ronnie's legs, it wouldn't be. You would see what I'm talking about.
Yeah, people. That's another question. Ronnie at his best versus Rami. I give Ronnie.
Ronnie at his best. Nobody beat him.
Right. Yeah, I don't know if anyone ever will beat that look ever.
Nobody. People don't understand. When we used to be backstage, Ron, you've been back there. Ronnie take them clothes off, boy. I'm talking about Flex, Chris, Cutler. Everybody's mouth is dropping.
Yeah. It was
Mine too.
it was over before it began in those days with when Ronnie was on.
I used to get that same thing about Phil. I'm a huge fan of Phil. I'm a huge fan of most of these guys.
Yeah.
And people said all the thing. It's as beautiful as Phil shape was in his prime. You don't want to stand next to Ronnie, bro.
No, that was something else. I mean, I'm glad we got to see it because I think that was a once in a generation thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll ever. I don't. If we live to be 100, I don't know if we'll ever see that.
We're never gonna see it again.
Yeah.
And if we do, they'll probably end up like him because that's the type of person he was. Yeah. He was the hardest worker you ever seen. Lifting all his heavy weight. So it's gonna take a person with that mindset and that that drive to be able to do. And plus, you got to have the genetics. Yeah. I mean, Ronnie had a good shape at his best.
He did.
It started falling apart as he got older, but there's some years, boy, Ronnie had a small waist and it's just, a guy that's out wearing everybody about 50 pounds, but he's shredded. That's impossible to beat.
Last Ronnie question. Which Ronnie do you think was deadlier? Or which one did you prefer? The 247-pound version that won the first Olympia and that Arnold Classic, or the 280, 290 plus version that we saw much later?
You talking about when he was all shredded up and when that one black and white? Okay, put it this way. If that Ronnie compete against that Ronnie, the 280 compete against the 240 something, he's smoking himself.
Okay, yeah, I agree.
Now who asked me which one I prefer? Yeah, I probably will go with the one, of course, 247. Right. But we're talking about if you judging in a show, he's 50 pounds bigger, but the same condition. It's impossible to beat.
Yeah. Anyway, let's talk just a bit about Hadi Choopan, because there's people, the day after the Olympia, the 2 days, 3 days, everyone's always, wow, this guy should have won, that guy should have won. But you could make that argument. Hadi Choopan, best condition on that stage, not the prettiest physique you're ever going to see, but neither is Rami. I wouldn't call his physique pretty. It was just a lot of brutal, dense, strided, gnarly, mature muscle. Do you think third place was right? Would you have put him any higher?
Going into the show, I had Hadi, beating Brandon going into the show. Yeah. Okay. But Hadi lost size from last year. His legs were a little down from last year. So that hurt him. Because when he had those big ass legs and it made his waist look even smaller.
Right.
Than it is. But now that his legs were down, his waist looked wider. Now, don't get me wrong. He definitely was the best condition. If it was me, I probably would have picked Hadi to win because he was overall, conditioned from head to toe. Right. And he got a pretty good physique. And so if it was me judging, I probably would have had him first.
Yeah. I'm going off on a tangent, but there's all this talk like condition shouldn't count as much. Where the judges need to stop rewarding extreme condition. But my argument to that is at your level, at the level of the very top Olympia guys, you guys all look so incredible. How do you start picking first place, second place, third place? Condition has to matter, or else what are you gonna do?
I don't know whoever said there's a fool for saying that, first of all. All the shows I won off conditioning, and shape, of course, but mainly conditioning. There's a lot of guys with my shape in the 90s.
That's true.
Are close to it, but my condition, allowed me to beat these guys. You know what I'm saying? So whoever's saying that, I don't know what they're talking about when it comes to bodybuilding. You got to be conditioned. If you're in condition, put it this way, with what's going on and what's being said about the sport today, with people not being conditioned, that's why the sport seems like it's going down. That's why the comparison between these guys versus the 90s guys, because no one's in condition. And everybody's, of course, is saying the 90s got a better physique. We know that. But condition-wise, it's not even close. They're way more conditioned than we are.
Yeah.
Not we. No, excuse me. I'm both. So I've been in both eras. So
90s, 2000. Geez. Your first show was 1991, right?
My first show was 91.
And your last show was 2020, so it's 29 years. Am I doing that right? The math? Yeah, almost 30 years of competing.
Almost 30 years, yeah.
What do you think of the two youngsters, Hunter Labrada, Nick Walker, 4th and 5th place?
Hunter really shocked me. I did not have him in the top 5 going into the show. Kudos to him. He looked amazing. Could be tighter, all these guys could be tighter. But he brought his best. I think this is probably the best I've seen him. So he has to keep continuing getting better. Let's rephrase that. I think Friday first round was the best I've seen him. Right. And then he kind of started fading a little bit. I think, holding water, spilling over, whatever. Yeah. Whatever you want to call it. But definitely he was better, at first when he first came out and did the first call outs in the first round. So I think he has a bright future. He shocked the shit out of me, to be honest with you. Yeah. I always say to people that when you have a Hall of Fame father in any sport, no matter what it is, you tell me off of your head right now, the top of your head, Ron, what son was better than the Hall of Fame father?
None. Yeah, I mean,
zero.
Look at Sergio Oliva Jr. If his dad wasn't Sergio Oliva, I think he would get a lot more praise instead of getting, you're not as good as your dad was. You're never going to be as good as your dad.
But we're not even talking about not only just bodybuilding. We're talking about baseball, football. I mean, show me what football player is better than, their dad. I mean, say for instance, like
the Mannings, maybe.
Who?
Peyton and Eli Manning, maybe.
Was their dad a Hall of Famer though?
Oh, he didn't. I guess not. You know your stats. You know who's in the Hall of Fame.
I don't think he was a Hall of Famer. But what I'm saying is that's very rare to do. And Hunter got a chance to be able to do that. He's got a bright future. I think if he keep doing his thing and come in better condition than he is now, 20-30% better, he can win Olympia. And then there's your first person that I've ever known to be better than their Hall of Fame father.
Yeah, if he could pull that off, and he could still. He's still a young guy.
Still young.
Still young. At least 29.
I'm not saying it's gonna happen. I'm just saying.
If you told me back in the day, Kevin's never gonna win the Olympia, Sean's never gonna win the Olympia, Flex is never gonna win the Olympia, I would have been, shut up. Of course they're gonna win. They're gonna win one at least. Come on. But nope.
They got stuck in the era where it was a lot of great guys. Then you had Dorian, you had Ronnie. So it was really,
Yeah, they had a headlock on that title. Nick Walker, very exciting, tons of fans. The young kids love him. They love him. And they were very upset that Hunter beat him for some reason, just because I think Hunter's a young guy too. Yeah. They wanted to see their guy beat him. But man, he just won the Arnold, another guy with a very bright future. I'm sure he wanted better than fifth, but what a great debut. What do you think about him? And
well, I think how Hunter beat him probably is because his shape. Nick doesn't have a very pleasing physique, but what I do like about Nick is he's a fucking hard worker. That boy works, and he believes in himself. He believes he can actually win. Right. You know what I'm saying? I could think of some old timers like Chris Camille and guys like that. If they had that mindset, I used to have that mindset, but I wasn't out in the open with it like Nick is. Right. I had it with around my partners and stuff, but I never came out and actually said it. You know what I'm saying? So kudos to Nick for doing what he did, and he said it and he did it, and that's something awesome to be proud of. So I love his work ethic. It's amazing. So as long as he keep doing what he's doing, bringing his weights down a little more, bringing his stomach down a little more. I mean, he's got a ton of muscle. He don't need to get any bigger. He get any bigger than he's really playing with. He's playing with, his future when it comes to him actually becoming Mr. Olympia or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So he needs to stay where he's at. He's doing fine and just keep on practicing, on that conditioning, and probably bring his legs up, try and get a little bit more sweep on his quads to match that big old upper body. But other than that, man, I mean, I got nothing bad to say about the guy. I talked to him backstage and I say, Nick, you know what? When I first heard about you, all I saw was, a lot of people was talking how cocky you were. And I kind of like, you know what? This guy is cocky, but after meeting him, it's all confidence, brother. A lot of people like me, I came off as cocky back in the day. Everybody knows that. Right. Thank God for social media, you see that I'm not that type of person, and I'm not that person that it's judging a book by its cover, you never should do. And when I met Nick, he's a great guy. And I talked to him, I said, Nick, keep doing your thing. Don't let this shit get you down. You're a baby in this sport. Your time is coming. So just be patient, stay where you're at. Now, if you start getting doing too much of what you're doing now when it comes to talking trash, then you're gonna start having problems with people disliking you. So stay where you're at, stay confident, and don't get overconfident, and he's gonna be just fine.
This was the first time William Bonac's been out of the top 5 in a very, very long time. I've seen him much better. I don't know what the deal is, but were you surprised that he was beaten by Hunter and Nick?
I was surprised because I felt that he came in even better for Saturday night. You know what I'm saying? He brought his legs back up. They was, back full again, and standing next to Nick, it's like, wow, William is right there, and Nick outweighs him probably about 15, 20 pounds.
Yeah.
Because William don't weigh that much. He's not. William probably 220 at best, 225 at best. You know what I'm saying? He's shorter than me.
That's true. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And but he held his own right. He looked just, the muscle bellies he got make him look just as big as those guys. So yeah, I felt that William could have been up there too, man. But I think he could have been better on Friday night.
True. Well, I got you on that subject just randomly, but what was your weight toward the end of your career? Because I used to hear all kinds of 225, 230, 240.
I was 235.
235. Okay, fair enough. Last guy I'm going to ask you about an open, because you competed against him many times. I'm sure you consider him a good friend, is Rolly Winkler. Rolly didn't make top 10, which is, for a guy who was third place in 2018, and arguably some people had him winning that show, the year Roden won. Some people thought, he looked fantastic that year. That was just a great year for him overall. I think that's when he won Arnold Australia. If you were talking to him, would you say it might be time to hang it up or go back to the drawing board? Or what would your advice for him be?
What would I say to him?
Yeah.
These guys are getting up in age now. Even William, you guys are getting up in age. You got the young, hungry youngsters coming up behind them, man. What I would say to those guys is, I would wish for them to call me so I can give them the blueprint on how to change this shit around and get a few more years out of this. Because right now, what they're doing, it's not working. If you don't change what you're doing, you're going to keep dropping.
Yeah. You were, you went out on top. Admittedly, there were times when I could say Dexter looked better then than he did here, but still.
Of course. I'm 51. I was 51 years old.
Exactly. Yeah, you were. It was December. You had already turned 51. These fans have this weird, especially the younger guys, they don't have this concept of the human body does age, because they're like 20 or 25. They have no idea. They think they're going to look and feel that way forever and ever.
You can't use the same formula.
No.
Especially when you start getting up and it's going to catch up to you. You're going to have to learn how to make adjustments. Yeah. If you don't, I ain't competing in 22 years for nothing. I figured out the formula. And like I said, if I was in the game and I was in their shoes, I would be reaching out to me because I'm the only one did it. Not to brag or anything like that, but no one has last 22 years on top. This has never happened.
Because you were about, I want to say somewhere around 42, 43 when things were starting to go downhill for you. Yeah. And I think that's when you changed, that you went out to LA and started working with Charles Glass.
I threw everything in the garbage and said, you know what? I'm starting over.
And look what happened. You ended up winning, I think, another like 10 or 12 more shows after that.
16.
Yeah. 16. Well, there you go. You got the math better than me. Did you win the Olympia before you started working with him or after?
I won Olympia before, but I won like 2 or 3 Arnolds and Masters Olympia and European Olympia. I won a lot of shows. In fact, 2015, I had a guy tell me one time, he said, well, Dexter, I think 2015 and 16, your numbers was the best ever. I was like, wait a minute. It's hard to top me winning in 08, the Arnold and Olympia. And then every show after that, that's 5 straight shows I won, in 2008. So I went and I looked at what he was talking about. I added up everything. I was like, damn, I did 13 or 14 shows that year. What? Those 2 years. 13 or 14 shows those 2 years.
Wow.
And I won 9 out of those 9 out of those 12. Wow. And then placed second in all the rest of them, and the other 3. So that was two hell of a years, and he was right.
Yeah. So your total is 29 pro wins, right?
29.
Did
Now, if you want to average it all up, you know,
but I thought you were going to go for 30. I thought you were really you wanted like an even number. I thought you were going to get one more win just to make it 30. Even
yeah, I was shooting to do that, you know, and I think if I would have did Brazil, COVID messed everything up for me doing Brazil before the Arnold. Yeah. I think I could have won, you know, I would have got that 30th win because when I played second to William at the Arnold, my Arnold physique is nothing like my Olympia physique. I did some stupid shit, tried something different. Why would you do that, Dex? That's what I ask myself to this day. Why would you change up things your last freaking year? Your last year. But anyway, what's done is done. I'm just happy to be finished with everything and still placed in the top 10. And I had an amazing career, man. What can I say?
Well, I can, you know, Ashley how do you say her name? Ashley K. She might get more wins than you because there is a bikini show like every weekend somewhere, pro bikini. But no, I can confidently say, and I'd bet somebody good money. I'd bet like a few $1,000. Nobody else is ever going to win more than 20. No one's going to beat your record of 29 pro wins. I don't think no one's ever going to win more than 8 Olympias.
Look, if I had a bodybuilding show every week, trust me, I don't want 60.
Oh yeah.
They got 80 shows. We only got 10.
Yeah.
So every show that I got in, brother, I was battling some top 10 Olympia guys. You can believe that.
Oh, I remember the lineups. Do you know how many shows you
Not
did?
to take nothing away from what Ashley's doing. What she's doing is amazing. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Coming over in the open class, you know, having only 10 to 12 shows a year, and you know, competing against all the top guys almost put it this way, every Arnold that I won, everybody in the top 10 of the Olympia was in it except Mr. Olympia.
Right. Yeah. You had to go up against Flex, Cutler, Ronnie, Cormier. I mean, it was rough.
Yeah, Victor, Phil, Kai, all these dudes.
That's right. I mean, wow. Do you know how many shows you did overall? Was it like 80, 90?
80, I think like 85.
I wonder if that's the record.
That's the record.
That is the record. I know
Milo's had the record. He had like 78 or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're wow. So wow, look at all these stats. This is ridiculous. But last Olympia question. Then I want to talk about your life since bodybuilding. 212. Which way did you see that? Because it was very close, very close. Clarita didn't look bad at all. I thought he looked phenomenal. Derek looked awesome too. I mean, I could have flipped a coin and been happy either way. What about you?
I'm with you on that. That was a hell of a show right there, that 212. Derek always was like the, you know, what do you call it? The next big bridesmaid. The next big thing, you know, but he could never land that conditioning. Man, he landed it for this show. And not to take anything from Clarita, he looked amazing as well, full as a tick, but Lunsford was so much bigger and conditioned as well, you know, so that's hard to beat, man.
Yeah. When you're looking at a 212 guy and you can't believe he only weighs 212, that tells you this guy is just phenomenal.
Yeah, well, yeah, and especially, you know, Sean, he only weighed like 178. Look at all that muscle he packing on that frame.
Dude, it's crazy. A true giant killer.
Yeah.
All right, enough about all those guys. Let's talk about you now, Dexter. So last December was your final contest, Olympia. It was really emotional. You had, I think, like your whole family came on stage. You were like a dozen or 20 people up there from what I recall. Very emotional because especially a lot of us who watch you over the years, it was hard to watch you walk away, but we know everyone has to retire eventually. So you can't do this forever and ever. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure you've talked about in other interviews, but after that show for like a week or a few weeks, where you kind of, did you have that feeling like I'm lost, I'm gonna miss this? I mean, no, or you were so ready? Yeah,
I was so ready. Like I said, I competed for so long for a reason, so I know I wouldn't miss this when I was gone. You know what I'm saying? So, and plus I was working on all of my business adventures that I have going on now. So I was already prepared, you know, mentally for that.
Yeah.
And things are just going really well right now.
Yeah. So yeah, let's talk about the businesses, because I know you've been, you had great contracts over the years and everything, but you never relied on those. You got into real estate a long time ago. Was that your first kind of venture outside of bodybuilding?
No, I got a few houses. I'm not that big into that. Um, I wanted to get into it much more than I am now.
Yeah.
And I probably start back getting into it, but I'm so focused on bringing out my supplement line that everything that I did probably for the past 5 years, I put everything into this particular moment. That's why I was already focused and ready to get this thing launched and get started after, post-retirement.
Right.
And that's, as soon as that was done, all my focus was onto getting my product released. And I'm still waiting till the day, you guys have seen, you can go to the website and see exactly what I have in store and what's coming out, but there's no product yet. You can go on and look at everything, but you can't order because I'm still waiting on the freaking manufacturers getting my stuff, man.
It's COVID times.
A year since I ordered.
What? Oh, my goodness.
And I'm thinking this, wait a minute, man, they blackballing me or some shit. What's going on with this? So I'm hitting up a few friends from different companies and stuff that own different supplement companies, and no, they all backed up. No one has received product.
Wow. So what is that website, Dexter?
Info at Dexter Jackson Signature Series.
So the website, DexterJacksonSignatureSeries.com. People can check it out right now.
Yeah, it's Dexter Jackson Signature Series.
Okay.
Info at Dexter Jackson Signature Series is where you can email and put in orders and all of that good stuff.
Cool. So you were an employee, a spokesperson for a couple supplement companies over the years. When did you start getting the idea for your own company and doing things for yourself instead of for somebody else?
Well, you know what, Ron? I actually had a nutrition company a few years ago. It was called Blade Nutrition, but I was with a partner that it didn't go well with. I didn't have any control over it. And I learned real fast how to become a businessman and run my own shit. So that's why all those, for the past 5 years, everything, all my money, everything was going. That's why you guys don't see me with no new J's and new fit outfits and all that stuff, because I was putting everything into this line. Yeah. And so I knew, what I wanted to do and where I wanted to go with this line. So the focus was not to make the mistakes that I made in the past. So I own absolutely 100% of my company, okay? Trademark, everything. So, and I built the team from a lot of guys that were with different companies that are no longer around. And I got an amazing team and amazing staff, and I'm just ready to get the launch going. I've already launched. I got a small run a few months ago. Some of you guys may have seen me giving out free product and stuff before. Yeah. And that went so fast, but it was mainly going to be launched. The first run is mainly going to be launched to the Middle East. Okay. And Middle East and in Europe and also in India. Mm-hmm. And then I was going to bring my second run over here in the States. Okay.
Guys, I'm curious about your popularity in the States versus worldwide, because we have a few guys I know Kai is huge in India for some reason. He's like a major celebrity over there. When Kevin had his line, Kevin Leveroni obviously still has his line. It's been over in Europe for a very long time, particularly places like Russia, Eastern Poland, Eastern Europe seems to really love Kevin. Is there a certain part of the world where there's a really demand for your product that maybe you weren't even expecting, outside the US?
Definitely the whole Middle East, India, China, Brazil, of course, Europe, but those first four that I mentioned are high demand for anything that we top athletes do.
Yeah. And I mean, it's the US supplement market. It's very tough because everyone's got a supplement company these days. It's very super complicated, especially since social media, when you don't have to pay for, $10,000 for a magazine ad. You can just have an Instagram page and give some kid with spiky hair and abs like a box of product every month, and he's got 1 million followers. He'll post every day for you. So yeah, I mean,
but I'm okay with all of that, but I'm more into, what I have made friends with distributors all around the world. That's what I'm focusing on. I want to focus on, you buying $100,000 order every 3 months versus somebody posting online for me. You know what I'm saying? So so it's all about contacts and who you know. So I'm just happy that I built an amazing friendship with a lot of these distributors and stuff like that around the world. And I'm looking forward to actually getting this thing put out, man. And don't get it twisted. I am going to hire. My goal is always to be to give back. Yeah. I'm looking to, once I launch this line to get this thing going, I want to sign athletes. I want to be not the next Muscle Tech or nothing like that, but I want to give back. I want these guys to be making the money that they deserve and not just, out there doing all whatever it is they're doing just to get get some money to take care of your family. Whatever. I know guys got to do that, but I want to be the one to actually pay these guys what they're worth, because I didn't take anything less than what I was worth. And that's what I want to show these guys. You got to know your worth. These guys, some of these guys I know, and it's sad, they take little to no money because they have to take care of their families. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not going to do people like that, man. It's not right. Like I said, I didn't do it. I pray to God that I do well where I can be able to give back and give these guys what they're worth.
So that's an interesting point, because your DM's going to blow up as soon as this comes out. Everyone's going to want to be an athlete with you, of course. So, so you're a company owner. Here's guys winning big titles or whatever, and maybe they don't do much on social media. They don't have much of a following. They just want to train and be the best athlete they can be. Then you might have some other guys who might not be as good. Maybe they've never won anything major, but they hustle. They have YouTube channel. They have, I don't know, TikTok, whatever these kids have these days. And they post all the time, and they have tons of fans and followers. Which one, or you're going to have some of both types, or which type do you really?
I definitely want to have some of both types, but I think when it comes to this, bodybuilding, I think the type of products that we put out in this industry is more towards bodybuilders. You know what I'm saying? So when a person see a big guy taking, they go like, damn, he taking that, okay. And they see just a regular dude, or a physique guy, or a person that's got a high following on YouTube that don't look like nothing. Which one are you gonna believe? You know what I'm saying? So, so, but I am, like I said, I'm definitely going to open up to everybody, not just, bodybuilders and nothing like that. I want, everybody, whether it's bikini and figure or what have you, YouTube guys, everybody's welcome to come aboard this team, if we can work something out when I get this thing going.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny you say bikini, because you're a very successful coach as well, and you had a huge amount of figure and bikini athletes. A lot of people would have assumed Dexter Jackson, he's only going to coach bodybuilders, but no, you had all every division basically.
Back then, actually, I had more bikini than anything. Strictly bikini, to be honest with you, and a couple of figure girls, but other than that, they were strictly bikini, because I was better at actually, and it's just me, so I want you guys to think I'm a perv and no shit like that. Because I had my wife working next to me all the way, training each person, and all of that stuff. So, but I think I was better with women, dialing women in versus men, because men can be complicated. Most of the time, most of the time they don't listen to what you're saying. Say anyway, they always gonna add a little bit more here and add a little bit more there. So I try, to train more people that I know that's gonna listen and do what I tell them to do. You know what I'm saying? But nowadays, I don't have a huge team. I have about 20 to 25 athletes that I train. And guess what? 20 of them are probably lifestyle. Okay. I got a handful of people that I train, and I train them because I think they got a good future, or they've on my team previously back in the day or something like that. But I'm not trying to train, a lot of bodybuilding. First of all, they ain't got no money. And Ron, you know how it is. First of all, they broke and shit anyway. Excuse my English.
No, they are. They are. And if they have money, they don't want to. They don't want to pay a coach.
They don't want to pay a coach.
They say you can just say you coach me.
Right.
Yeah. Tell everyone what a great coach you are. Anyway,
you know how it is, Ron.
Oh, dude. Yeah. Well, women listen to their coaches. Men, they'll go behind your back. They'll take stuff they're not supposed to.
Don't get it twisted. Now, the reason that I got out of coaching, because I was way back. I was one of the first coaches. I was back there with, Kim Odo and Mike Davis, and then there was Team Blade. There weren't no other coaches. There weren't no teams out there. We was on the team back. I was before Shannon Day's team, and I was before.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Geez.
So, as a matter of fact, my first girl won overall in the nationals as bikini. Yeah, way back then.
The first bikini national champion.
That's right.
Wow.
And but you know what? Ron? And don't get it twisted. Women the same way too. I put my heart and soul to training these people.
Yeah.
And they break, and they lose, and the shit hurts me like it hurt them. I'm crying right with them. And I just got, I couldn't handle that no more, man. First of all, I could, like I said, I put my heart and soul into training people. It's like, if you win, I win. If you lose, it hurts. It hurts me if you lose. Yeah. So that's one of the reasons I had to get away from coaching so much and focus on me and focus on, getting back. Because like I said, I started way back then. And then when I hit 2010, it's like, you know what? I started dipping. And that's when I got George and I got Charles. And I said, you know what? I need to let this team go. I need to focus and get my ass back in gear and get back right. So I was done with coaching for a few years, like 7 years or something like that. Then I came back about 2 years ago. And like I said, I'm only coaching more lifestyle people. It's so easy to get along with. You don't hear nothing from them. They do what you say, and they get in shape, and we all good. You don't have nagging calls every day. Why am I doing it? So why I gotta eat 3 times a day? Why I gotta eat this in my okay. But I love it. I love seeing people happy. I love working with people. Like I said, I love giving back, man. So that's the only reason I still train people right now. And trust me, it's not for the money, because I'm doing very well, like I said, with my other business adventures. Yeah. But I just love helping people, man. That's why I still put on my show.
That's what I was going to ask you. I know you've been putting on shows for a very long time.
I've been putting on that show since 2007.
How many do you got going now? I think at one time you had 3, 4, 5 shows a year.
3, but I'm down to 1.
Okay.
And I don't even actually run the show. Chris actually runs the show for me. Of course, I oversee everything. Chris from Center Podium.
Oh, Chris Mins.
Amazing. Chris Mins, amazing promoter. I mean, man, I'm talking about idolizes every freaking thing. And so he runs my show for me. Of course, I'm involved just as much as I was when I'm not. When I was running it, when my wife and Gail and I was running it, but it's so good to just turn everything over, let him do the work. I do the posts and all of that stuff. He does the venue stuff. He does he does everything, man. And it's really amazing. And I make, and I'm there. I'm not none of these promoters that, have somebody do the same thing, but they never even show up for their own show.
You got to go to your show. Come on.
Yeah, you got to go to your own show, man. I've never missed a day of my show, man.
So what's the one show left, and where is it? The Dexter Classic?
Yep.
In Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because Chris puts a lot of stuff out west. He puts a lot of like shows in.
Yeah, he does. I'm actually going to Legions in 2 weeks.
Oh, you're going there? Yeah.
Yep.
I might be going. We'll see. But last question about the supplement line, because you worked for other companies and you used products from other companies for all those years. Did you pick up a lot of things along the way? Said, I'm going to do it differently. My products are going to be like this, not like that. Was that a great educational experience, all those years working for other companies to make sure your company is going to be very, very different?
Right. It really was. I've been with a few companies over my life, my career. And the best ones that I did, that I thought had the best product, of course, asked questions and learned on my own and got the ingredients that I wanted in my product, that I thought was right and that I thought, you know, that would help people get in the best shape of their lives. And I implemented that into my supplement line.
So this last question is for us older guys. So young guys, if you want to turn it off right now, that's fine. As long as you listened up to this point. I've seen so many bodybuilders who retired, but they still felt the need to keep all that size and do everything it takes to keep all that size, which in your 40s and 50s, that's probably not the brightest idea. If you want to see your 60s or 70s or whatever, you know, you still look fantastic. And I know you could, if you wanted to be big Dexter again, you could do it in like 3 weeks, I bet, or 2 weeks.
Absolutely.
Psychologically, how have you been, how are you able to do that? Where some guys, their whole identity is wrapped up in being this big freak that everyone's like, oh my God, look at that. How have you been able to not worry about that and just be healthy and mobile and live your life now instead of worrying about being this monstrously big bodybuilder?
Yeah. You know what? I don't even look in the mirror and wish I was big no more. You know, I'm sitting at right now about 215.
Yeah.
In good condition, great condition, excuse me.
Sure.
But I never, just like when I retired with that as well. That mindset, as you know, like some of these people can't let it go. You know, like you said, they can't miss a day in the gym. You know, they still eating 7 meals a day. Man, listen, when I was competing around, what was my motto? When I retire, twice a day, this is what I'm eating.
Twice a day.
I'm not trying to fucking eat no 7 meals no more, man. That's the worst part of my 30-year career is eating 6-7 meals a day. That's the worst part. If I can just eat once a day and be that swole, I would eat once a day. But you know, it don't work that way. You gotta eat them 6-7 meals a day in order to keep that muscle in that or gain muscle.
Yeah.
But when I got, as soon as a lot of people think, well, Dex, you know, well, I see on the internet these people. Well, yeah. Dex, you know, he's gonna go back down to 130 pounds. You know, he's off of juice. So look at him, how he shrunk down so quick. Listen, brother, if I take 1 cc of test every 10 days and eat 6 meals, my ass would be 250. People don't understand. That's what I know. They don't understand about me, Ron. I never took a lot of stuff. I'm not none of these guys out there to take a gang of shit. Yeah. I took the smallest amounts you can imagine. You would freak out if I showed you what I took.
I believe, I know no one to believe, but I believe you because I've known people and they had no reason to lie to me who told me.
If you got genetics, if you got a genetics, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Brother, put it this way, if I was going to gang of shit like everybody think, do you think I would have lasted 22 years? Check my blood work, brother. I can show you that. My shit is awesome. Wow. And trust me, if I was on a gang and stuff like that, I would have some terrible blood work probably.
Well, I mean, I know the quote unquote, I know what the toxic look looks like. I know what people look like when they take large amounts of stuff because the skin, you can see it in a lot of different ways if you're experienced. And I never saw that with you. I think the majority of people, because you're such a rare breed, I call you guys mutants because you're like 1 in 10,000 people have the ability to be on that Olympia stage. And then, then you boil it down, how many of those people with the genetics have the mental drive to do that and the discipline and all that. Now you're into like 1 in 100,000. So I think the majority of people can't comprehend that another human being can be so different genetically from them. That's so right. It has to be drugs. But I say this all the time. Yeah. How many guys are 6'10" or taller in this world? How many? Not many, right? 6'10" is a tall man. 6'11", 7 foot. I said, that's about as rare as these guys are. And they're like, no, I'm like, trust me. I could walk into any crowded gym in the world. There could be 300 people on the workout floor. And I'll be like, that guy has good genetics. One, I'll see that girl over there and that guy. That's it. The rest, they're never going to look like that.
Absolutely right. And to get back to what you asked, no, I have no problem being 215. Hell, I want to go down to 190.
Were you inspired? I have to know, were you inspired by Dorian? Because that to me is the best example of somebody who was this freak. He was the biggest guy of his era. And as soon as it was over, he was like, I'm done. I did it. I have nothing to prove to anyone ever again.
Look, I don't escape. Listen, I don't escape death for 30 years, brother. You know what I'm saying? I am trying to eat berries and grape, fruit all day. I'm trying to live another 50 years. All of that shit these people are talking about, he done lost all this. I don't care about that. I don't did what I wanted to do. Now I'm done. Now it's time to live for my family and my grandkids, brother. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it's all about with me. I am happy as hell. And I love spending time with my grandkids. And that means the world to me, man.
Yeah. I mean, life, that's what they say. Is there life after bodybuilding? For some guys, unfortunately, there really isn't, because that was all they had. You've been about family for a very long time. You were a dad young, like a lot of us. And, you have a great family you want to spend. And that's what people really don't get. It's like, there's so much more to life than this. It's hard if they've never been to that place where they were already at the top of the game like you were. Maybe that's why, but you did it all. I mean, who's more? You can argue that somebody won more Olympia titles than you or something, but nobody has your record, and nobody ever will have your record. It's just it would take them another 30 years to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it can't be done. It'll never be broken, because first of all, these guys don't have the they don't have the drive. I mean, we was doing 8 to 11 shows a year. These guys getting 2 shows, 1 or 2 shows, and they done for the year. So that ain't never gonna happen again, man. We you'll never see the hunger and the drive that we had from the 90s guys. You're not gonna see that these days. Well, plus, it ain't even it's less shows than it was back then. It too as well.
I know. There's all these shows now. You'd think, it's someone like an Ian Valliere gets criticized because he had already qualified for the Olympia, and they said you should stop. Let somebody else. And I said, these guys in the 90s and the early 2000s, like Dexter and Kevin, whatever, they didn't say, oh, I just want to qualify for the Olympia and then I'm done. You're a professional athlete in your sport. Why wouldn't you want to keep winning if you can? If you're the best, wouldn't you want to just keep going and win as many shows as you can?
No, it's a double-edged sword. You have people saying that, and you have promoters saying we need big guys in our show, big names, in order for our show to survive. So come on, you can't have it both ways.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's the only people that make that case for you should qualify for the Olympia and then stop are the ones that they want their guy to be able to qualify, because we didn't have this point system back in the day. The point system is a fairly new phenomenon. I don't remember.
The point system is to get the guys to compete more, because these shows ain't lasting because the guys ain't competing. Right. So I tip my hat off to Ian for doing what he's doing.
Right.
I think Shabbat, what's his name out there?
Hassan Mustafa and Shaban.
They did a few shows. He did about 6, 7 shows this year.
7 or 8.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And we need that for these guys. But these guys, man, they lazy these days, for one. They don't want to diet. They can't diet. They're not hungry like we were back in the day. You got a few, like you said, like we just said, we got the Muhammad and Shaban. We got him, and we got another guy. Who was the other guy that did a few shows this year?
Hassan, and that's great. Hassan Mustafa did a bunch.
We need that, man. We need these guys to compete more to help,
Mohammed El Imam.
Yeah, right. To keep the shows around and to have more promoters come out putting on shows, so that once they start seeing a lot of guys competing, a lot of top guys competing a lot, we're gonna start getting more shows.
Yeah, I mean, imagine if you had all those shows back in your era to choose from. Oof.
Oh yeah. Man, they were shit. Dorian and them was and man, those guys was and Ronnie and Kevin, those guys were going soon. The Olympia was over. They go overseas, do 3, 4 shows this week. The next week, then the following week they still over there doing another 3, 4 shows.
Yeah,
back to back. And shit, I can do that, man. If I had that many shows, Ron, sheesh.
Yeah, I remember you got crap for 2019 Tampa. Is that the year you did it? 2019?
2019, yeah.
They were like, why is Dexter doing that show? That's not fair. He should let someone else win. I'm like, let someone else win. Is that like in the Super Bowl? You should just take a knee in the middle of the field, in the middle of the game, so someone else can run the ball past you? Come on.
What is that all about? How dumb is that, bro? How dumb is that even to say something like that? We're all professionals.
It's the generation that gets a trophy for everything. That's why.
Look, it wasn't for the money, that's for sure, because there wasn't no money in the damn show.
Right.
It was for Tim, and I had an agreement back in the day Tim Gardner, the promoter. I said, Tim, one day I'm gonna do your show. I promise you. And you know what Mr. Olympia would tell a guy that's gonna do a lower level show like that,
right,
and do it. It's not many. I promised him I was gonna do that show. Plus, it's in my own hometown, damn near Jacksonville. I was very close to Tampa. All of my family, all my friends from here got to see me. They've never seen me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the reason why I did that show.
So you know what? It was a great, I wouldn't say favor, but I mean, it bolstered that show like crazy. The Tampa's always a good show, but now we got Mr. Olympia competing in it, 5-time Arnold Classic. I mean, there was a lot of excitement around that show.
And it was the same way for the Arnold Classic Brazil. As soon as them tickets went on, as soon as I said I was doing that show, that shit sold out in 30 minutes. Yeah. And then of course COVID hit. Right. You know.
Yeah, like you said, big names, they sell tickets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of guys that get on this top level, you know, that's Mr. Olympia. They don't want to go and risk losing at a smaller show. But you know me, Ron, I didn't care. Yeah. You know, I do every damn show. I don't give a damn who's in it. That's why I compete. That's why I competed when Flex and when I first turned pro. I'm like, Flex, okay. I was a little nervous, you know, Chris, Vince Taylor, Ronnie, all these dudes backstage, like, oh shit. But I was, you know, I knew that was gonna make me better. So I didn't skip, you know, the first 2 or 3 years to try and put on more sides for the pros. I jumped right in the fire, brother. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That made me better. That made me hungrier. And look what happened, man. I've been in the game since.
Yeah, I mean, if any pro bodybuilders want a really good primer or example on how to structure your career for longevity, for all these things, I think they should really investigate what you did. You know, do what Dexter did, follow in his footsteps, because you did it the right way.
If you want a long career, I agree with you 100%. If you want a short career, then there's a ton of guys out there that you can look up that are greats that had a very short career because they didn't know how to make the proper adjustments.
Yeah, I mean, really, some of these guys lasted like a year. Some of them were gone like that. Like they did like 2 or 3 shows and we never saw them again.
That's right. And they were stuck on their own ways and doing what they thought they were doing, what got them there, and didn't make an adjustment. So, you know, as you get older, man, you got to learn how to make the proper adjustments. And that's what I did.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I'm glad you did all that, because it's a lot of people do look to you as an example. That's your phone. Anyway, so you've been very generous with your time. The site is Dexter Jackson Signature Series.
No, the site is, I'm sorry, Dexter Supplements, DexterSupplements.com.
DexterSupplements.com.
Well, I got the worst memory you ever seen in your life. That's okay. I tell you, I forget what happened 2 days ago. And man, I got the worst memory. But it's Dexter.
No, I do. But anyway, you're probably right there next to me, a little below. You'll catch up.
DexterSupplements.com.
DexterSupplements.com, everybody. The line is launching very, very soon. So you get some product in stock, and you can get that. How can people? What ways are they going to be like Vitamin Shop? GNC is going to be direct mail, direct marketing?
Nope, you'll be able to get on Amazon.
Oh yeah, you got to be on Amazon.
So you'll be able to get it from different other places other than, you know, you can get it from my website, of course.
Yeah.
You know, so
just Google it. Google Dexter Supplements. Cool. All right. Well, Dexter, thank you so much for taking the time. Always a pleasure. And I love getting your insights. You know, when you were competing, you weren't able to really comment on all that stuff because you were in the middle of it. Now you're the retired expert. I love it, because
I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
It's only somebody with that eye who's been up there and done it can really talk about it the way that you do. So that's why I wanted to get you.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Dexter Jackson. Appreciate it, sir. The Blade.
Right. And, you guys, it's been a pleasure, you know, competing and being, you know, trying to be a good ambassador of the sport. Thank you guys so much for always reaching out to me and encouraging me and all that good stuff, man, because without you guys, I never wouldn't have lasted this long. All right. God bless y'all and peace out.
All right. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.